Harrison Barnes, you're listening to 3-Point Conversion.
This level and at this league. So he has the makeup for it. We just have, we got Biz and Cody in front of him right now, and he doesn't have a ton of experience, but we're going to need to take a look at him at some point, and I don't know when that is. I'm not saying it's right now or this year. Obviously this summer will be huge for him, but the kid is 19 and he's got some serious talent. He could be a major factor for us here quickly. If it's not this year, definitely next year.
And then real quickly, a game like last night, is it tough to analyze it, break it down, and pick it apart because, you're missing everybody?
Yeah. No, Will, for me, I go through the same thing. The standard is the standard here. And that's what I said to the guys just now. I don't care if you're a second round pick, you've not been drafted, you're a two-way guy. Our bar is our bar. Our standards are standard. I expect that out of everybody. Bring your best every single day. And those mistakes we made last night, we looked at those. The things we did well, we looked at those. And I give them feedback. That's all part of the process here. It's not all about, the outcome necessarily. We're going to review and work with the guys that were on the floor last night and teach them and talk about it. So no, it was actually refreshing to go through that film and watch this new batch of guys figure it out together. I loved it. I've never seen this group together. I've never seen Darling on the floor with all these guys. I had a bunch of second round picks, non-draft picks competing their tails off. It was fantastic. I loved it. So no, we evaluated, I analyzed it, and we taught and we coached off of it.
Goodwill, and then Paolo.
JB, you've talked a lot about how your competitive spirit has driven you, at least your team's competitive spirit has driven you in games. In a situation like last night and what you'll deal with tonight, how can that fuel you? Just because I feel like a lot of times in those situations, that's the hardest thing to maintain.
Well, that's really where it starts for us, is the competitive drive. I think we're all driven by that. That's what pushes us to be better, is our competitive spirit. And I think this group as a whole, if you go back to last year, I think the one thing you can say about our group is this group competes every single night and they just don't give in, and that's at the core of who we are. As I've shared our core values with everybody, compete is one of those core values, no matter who's on the floor. Call it the two-way guys. If Nate Darling steps on the floor, compete your tail off. We know the Martin twins are going to compete their tails off. That's what we do, and that's the standard here. And that's where we need to continue to grow and develop. We talk about curiosity all the time. That's another core value for us. I want guys that want to learn and grow in this game. If you got a curiosity and an appetite to get better, you're going to get better here. And most guys have done that. And then the last thing is the collective energy and momentum together. We're going to stay connected. And if you look at what we've done, we've stayed competitive, we've stayed connected, we're developing, and we got a group of curiosity individuals. So put that all together. I don't know if it answered your question, but it's all of that. It's really all of that. And that's what we do every single day. That's the standard here. We just got to keep moving forward. And that's what's gotten us to this place. And we got to continue that. No matter who's out of the lineup, who's in the lineup, who we add, who we don't add, we move forward.
Paolo, go ahead.
JB, I know Malik is out right now, but I spoke to him the other day and he talked about the role that he feels like he has on the team has helped them perform well this season. What have you seen from him in terms of development the last few years after, kind of a rocky start to his career? Where have you seen him come from and what has he done so well to allow him to get to this point?
Well, the first thing is he deserves credit for his approach. I think he's become more professional and he's taken ownership of his life and his career. And that's not easy for all young guys that come into this league. Malik and maybe others, there's a number of guys every single year. It's just, they come into the league with certain expectations and hopes and beliefs. And, the reality is it's just going to take work and it takes time to develop and grow. And, I think it's been a frustrating few years for Malik early on. It absolutely was frustrating for him. And he and I have shared those moments together. but I think last year was a great bridge for him. And I think, he was playing his best basketball of the year. And I've learned a lot through coaching Malik, having patience, having grace, trusting your players, giving them some more freedom to go play. And Malik's been one of those guys that I've had to just trust and let him go. And he has thrived with that. Even going back to last year, when he was playing his best basketball of the season, allowing him the freedom to go make mistakes, allowing him the freedom to go make plays and use his instinct and use his athleticism and not try to, hold him back and not, make him some perfect player. And I think Malik has thrived in that role. For Malik to stand out in this league, he needs that trust from a coach, from an organization saying, we believe in you. You're going to have these 20 to 25 minutes a night. Go play. Don't look over your shoulder. So that was the first thing. And then he's just taken, as I said, he's become more professional. He's taken ownership of his offensive game, his defensive game, his work ethic, the time he puts it in the weight room, the value of that. He's just taken on more. And then the offensive stuff obviously speaks for itself. The numbers, right? I mean, the 3-point shooting has turned his game. He came in as, if I remember right, I didn't draft him. We weren't here, obviously, but just from afar, I think the belief is that he was coming in as a shooter, and he just did not make shots early on for whatever reason, I don't think any of us really know, but he's turned that corner, and I believe he is a 40% 3-point shooter. He's a guy that can get to the rim at an elite level. He's an elite finisher. He has the ability to make plays for others. He's really turned his decision-making too. And I think that comes back to giving him that freedom to make some plays. And he's been fantastic. I know it's a long answer, but he's done a great job. He deserves a lot of credit, and he's got a bright future.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go to Danny and then wrap up with Sam.
Coach Danny Thompson with the 3-point conversion. You mentioned the fact that this team has a lot of competitiveness, and Terry's back in the lineup. How do you manage players' competitiveness on games where they're coming back from injury? Because Terry, like most guys in this roster, wants to play as many minutes as possible. How do you manage that and also keep their competitive drive going at the same time?
Well, it comes down to communication. That's really what it comes down to. Obviously I'm going to watch him. I'm going to talk to him. He wants to play major minutes, and I want him to, but I want to make sure he's right. And it really just comes down to communication. My dialogue with him before the game, my dialogue with him during the game, the eye test, watching him, making sure he's 100% and he's healthy out there and he looks right. So there's a good relationship between me and these players. These guys, there's trust, there's buy-in, and if I ask them something, I believe they're giving me the straight answer. And that's what happened yesterday with Terry. We just had a conversation and he just wasn't feeling right, 100%. We made a decision, and that's on me to make sure I'm managing him. I mean, you use the perfect word. It's just managing these players, and management really just comes down to communication and consistency in our talk. And we'll do the same thing here today. I've already talked to him. I'll talk to him before the game, and I'll talk to him during the game.
Sam?
JB, hope you're doing well. First time you guys played Cleveland, felt like rebounding was a big difference maker. I think you're out rebounded by 18 or 19. I know Cody got hurt, a little different personnel with Cleveland, but how important is the board and battle on the boards and the rebounding going to be tonight, and preventing the Cavs from getting any extra possessions, which I think they took advantage of in that opening night game?
Sure. I mean, the board's always big for us. We've moved up. I think we're 12th in defense now. We're trending towards the top 10 defense right now in the NBA. A lot of that is our defensive rebounding. So it's an area of focus for us every night. Obviously, it's a challenge here with Cleveland. They've always given us trouble on the board. For whatever reason, it's been a tough time for us on the board against these guys. They are a different lineup, different personnel, but the focus stays the same. Overall, in general, we got to win the paint tonight. They beat us up in the paint last game, and when they've played us well, they've dominated it in the paint area. So we got to keep them out of the paint, and part of that is rebounding the ball. We got to give them one shot only, rebound, and play from there. So, yeah, that'll be a major key tonight.
Thank you.